Greetings to you, my friends. I welcome you to another edition of Mentoring with Bola Adewara. This is what we call Mentoring Masterclass. Mentoring Masterclass. You're welcome. Today, we want to look at 10 ways to build powerful legacy. 10 ways to build powerful legacy. You see, some years ago, at a burial service, the children of a deceased were asked to speak on their father. Of the several things the first son said, I will not forget these lines. The son said, our father did not leave behind millions and billions, multiple buildings or choice cars for us children, but he left a legacy of great name. A name that opened doors for us anywhere we go. Immediately we mention our surname, people will ask if we know him and related to him. It's not so with other children of politicians whose fathers' names are synonymous with looting, stealing, political savagery, and pain of the common man. Anywhere we go, we walk without fear or security men. We are proud. I remember he said, we are proud to mention his name. We are eager to identify him as our father. And in fact, we use, I remember he said we use the two names of our father as our surname. I have come to know that truly a good name is better than riches untold. You see, legacy. Unknown to many people, today's action, today's footprint is tomorrow's legacy. Whatever that father would have done then, according to his children, his refusal to receive bribe, his attitude towards paying school fees of his workers, despite the fact that he was even paying the workers' salaries, even before his own children, his food supplies to most orphanages around the place that time, his attitude of always being the first in church every Sunday, were things that constitute the good name and legacy which open doors for the children today. What is legacy? Let us ask ourselves, what is legacy? The dictionary defines legacy as a gift or something we bequeath or hand over or endowed or conveyed from one person to another. It is something inherited or received from a predecessor. Legacy could be of great wealth, especially when all and sundry know that the source is very clean. But most time, legacy is more of kind than of cash. Legacy is about how you live your life now. How people think of you now is how people will think of you tomorrow. Today's footprint is tomorrow's legacy. According to a writer, those small acts of kindness you did without expectation of reward or recognition find a special place in people's hearts. That is what we call legacy. Everyone leaves a legacy, positive legacy or negative legacy. Legacy of impact and legacy of worthless life, that nothing will be remembered of that very person immediately that person dies. So many people die even before their death. It's a life of poor or no legacy. According to Ralph Waldo Emerson, the purpose of life is not just to be happy, but the purpose of life is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to live or to have or to make something of difference, that you and I have lived well and well enough. Now, what is essential to legacy building? Talking about legacy building, what is essential to legacy building? A legacy is a bilateral relationship between you and someone, maybe someone younger than you, or the generation coming after you. According to Google, a legacy cements your life's work as something that benefits future generation. Though you may never see it to fruition, but it drives, to create something greater than yourself, something that forever improves the world. To make this topic more vivid, we shall cite examples of people, men and women around the world, who left great legacy, not just for their immediate family or children, but for mankind. Those names will show you that legacy is not all the time about money. It is not all the time about property. Legacy sometimes, most times, if you need a bit of inspiration, here are names of people that you will, when you look at these names, you will find out that it is not about money or things like that. Internationally, let's look at names like Albert Einstein, Martin Luther King Jr., Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela, Kwame Nkrumah, Julius Nyerere, Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, Gamal Abdel Nasser, Jomo Kenyatta, Kenneth Kaunda, and so many more. Let's look at names like Socrates, like Plato, like Aristotle, like Alexander the Great. You see, people like these left legacies in areas of philosophy, law, sociology, and critical reasoning. Let's look at people like Amos Tutuola, Wole Soyinka, Buchi Emecheta, Chukwuemeka Ike, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, Kofi Awono, Leopold Sedar Senghor, Kamara Laye, J.F. Odujo, Sembede Usman, Dio Fagoa. Mention them. Aromolano, J.P. Clark, Chino Achebe. You see, those people left a great legacy in the area of literature. Now, we can also look at maybe in a country like Nigeria, you can mention people like Samuel Ajayi Crowther. You can mention Nnamdi Azikiwe, Lateef Jakonde, Malam Aminu Kano, Tai Solari, Adeoye Lambo, Gani Faweyimi, Afe Babalola, Bishop David Oyedepo. Look, if you scrutinize these names of the people I have mentioned, you will see that good legacy is not always about money. It's not always about property, but it's sometimes about good name, purpose, passion that they left or that they embarked upon that makes the human life better than they met it. That is what we call legacy. Now let's look at it. What is the importance of leaving legacy? The importance of leaving legacy. People want to leave a legacy because they want to feel their life mattered, their life had meaning. Some would like to touch lives and shape destinies. Others seek to make changes by correcting the anomalies they found in their societies. Once you know that what you want to live your life for, you can start building it the way you want to be remembered. You can start building your life the way you want to be remembered. According to a publication by Paradigm Life on the internet, the choice to leave a legacy isn't really yours. We all leave some kind of legacy, but you can choose whether those who come behind you will remember you in a positive or in a negative manner. Your legacy is made up of the convictions and traits you model to inspire the generation you leave behind. The good news is, as long as you are breathing, you can assess your legacy and make sure you are walking in the right direction. I hope you are still with me. Now let's look at it. The 10 ways to build respectable legacy. The 10 ways to build respectable legacy. Number 1, do what brings you joy. Do what brings you joy, or things that you enjoy doing, things that brings you joy. When you do this, you are most likely to put all passion into it. in such a way that you will touch lives and shape destinies of people around you. People who are angry, unhappy about what they are doing will spread bitterness and leave sad legacies in the mind of people. How do you build respectable legacy? Number 2, maximize your talent and strength. Maximize your talent and strength. 1, in doing what brings you joy, develop and maximize your talent, your strength, your skill. Working around that makes things easy and creates perfect example for others of same skill and talent that you follow. That is legacy building. Number 3, forgive easily. Forgive easily. Supplementary to doing what brings you joy is the need to forgive people in your relationship. Now, let me tell you something about forgiveness. Forgiveness is not negating the fact that you were offended or harm was done to you. Unforgiveness and anger is like someone who holds live coal, fire in his hands, and he is thinking another person is getting burned. Forgiveness is a process that takes time and effort, but at the end of the day, it makes you leave out all those negative feelings that will trouble you. When you hold someone down, you too, you are down. Don't forget, that's unforgiveness. When you hold someone down, you too, you are down with the person. So whenever anybody does anything that you don't like, just forgive, let it go. You are not doing that person any favor. You are doing yourself the biggest favor. And therefore, when the person realizes that, look, this guy that I was hurting, and he doesn't even care about it, he will not forget. He will remember that that man is a good man. Someday, that person will discuss it with people. Oh, that man is a great man. How do you build great legacy? Number 4, monitor your impact on others. Monitor your impact on others. What are the things you do that brings joy to people? What are the things you do for others and your heart feels satisfied with it? What are the things others do that you appreciate so much? What are the things you feel you can do to make the world better? Can you do these things? Start now. Do more of that without expecting any gratitude from any man. That is what we call legacy building. How do we build legacy? Do the right things always despite all odds. Do the right thing always despite all odds. When we say no to evil, refusing to cooperate with wrongdoings, even at the dangers to our life, it's often like we are not wise or we are losing. But in reality, we are being genuine. When you are true and you are honest about whom you are, others, including those who perpetrate evil, will deep in their heart know and respect you that you are a honest person. When they need an honest person to do things for them, they will find their ways to you. Having integrity sometimes means sacrificing too much. But when you pass on, people will exalt your memory and on account of your legacy, open doors for your descendants. That is legacy building. How do you build respectable legacy? Always avail yourself of opportunities to touch lives. For some people, think legacy building lies in that very big environment, waiting for them to grasp it with pomp and pageantry. But that is not true. Legacy building starts in rough places. Look at this woman, Mother Teresa, a lady respected around the world. She passed on around 1999, but the world has not forgotten her. This was a woman who did every work of charity in the slum, not on the street of New York or California. She lived in the slum and she touched lives and shape destiny. Legacy building starts in rough places. It starts with small opportunities, which later snowball into the big occasion. According to Paradigm Life, that's a publication on the internet, it says that we should stop waiting for that big occasion to make differences. Start with the small and perhaps with those closest to you and the ones who spend the most time with you, your children. Could be your children. Bring your best self to work and to family. Don't run around building legacy. Run around making a difference. The little differences we make here and there will come together to form our legacy. How do we build a great legacy? Number 7, be service-minded. Be a giver. Be service-minded. Be a giver. If you think of service all the time and not gain, you live a life of a giver rather than a receiver, posterity will record good legacy for you. Giving to most people is often a life of thankless service. But wise men like Zig Ziglar have said that you will get all what you want in life if you help enough people to get what they want. Elevate the needs of others over your own. Touching lives of others through charity, like paying school fees of the indigent children, supporting widows and orphans, instituting awards and erecting buildings in places of maybe in academia, is often great legacy, not easily forgotten in generations to come. In the words of Charles Dickens, no one is useless in this world who lightens the burden of another people. That is legacy building. Number 8, treat people with respect. How do you build good legacy? Treat people with respect. One of the reasons why others are classed as having good legacy is for their good reputation. In this part of the world, a good reputation is not far from good morality, interpersonal skill, relationship. All over the world, your ability to respect and honor others, acknowledging the strength of other people, complimenting and encouraging others, build our reputation. People like to relate with you. It's a gift which brings people face to face with favor all the days of their lives. You never know who is watching. That is legacy building. Number 9, when we say, how do we build a great legacy? Some people talk about writing legacy letter. Writing legacy letter. Someone wrote that in building your legacy, write what they call a legacy letter to tell your loved ones what they mean to you. Not many of us have that habit of telling people, you are a great guy. You did well. I love you. I love the things you do. I love the way you do yourself. Not many of us really have that kind of ability to express gratitude or to encourage others. A legacy letter is a way to speak directly to your loved ones after you are gone and say all things you don't want them to forget, how much joy they brought to you. Activity. Take a few minutes and write down specific ways you will know that the ones you love or you leave behind will respect your legacy. For example, you will say, my children will value education and ongoing learning. You can say, my granddaughter will live to follow my example. You know, I know of a man who left a legacy letter stipulating that his descendants will not leave the Anglican Church. I also had a story from my mother who told me that a certain man left an instruction that before any of his children would be given portion of what he left behind, they must take an oath with the Bible that they forever will be followers of Christ. You know, such things. So that your children will know that this is what our parents stand for all the days of his life. Legacy building. Don't forget, what you do today will constitute legacy tomorrow. Be very careful how you treat your life. I believe you have gained something today. Next week, same time, we will be looking at how to abort legacy. How to abort legacy. We'll look at that. If you have any question, you can reach me and I'll be ready to treat it. I want you all to visit our YouTube channel and look at our e-life video or look at our mentoring masterclass. You will get all our lectures in the past. And I believe that by the time you start listening to it one after the other, it's going to touch your life. I welcome you once again to Mentoring with Bola Adewara. Welcome to Mentoring Masterclass. The Lord be with you. I'll see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Mentoring Masterclass on YouTube. Thank you all. The Lord be with you. I love you.